Every single meeting, the same move. She'd answer a question. He'd cut her off mid-sentence and say, "That's not really what I asked." Didn't matter what she actually said. Didn't matter how prepared she was. Same line. Every time. She started feeling sick on the morning of every team meeting and she told herself the same thing so many of us tell ourselves, maybe I'm overreacting. Stay with me. Because she wasn't. And what she did about it is the exact playbook I want you to steal. Here's what nobody tells you about a boss like this. It's never one big dramatic blow up. If it were, everyone would believe you instantly, and it would be easy to report. It's small, repeated, deniable, a cutting comment here, a dismissive tone there. Each one on its own sounds too minor to complain about. Maybe he was just having a bad day. Maybe I misread the tone. Maybe that's just his communication style. That doubt isn't an accident. It's the exact thing that lets this kind of behavior survive for years because nobody ever writes any one moment down, and without a record, it's just your word against 100 tiny moments that all individually sound forgivable. Let me tell you about Tania. Her manager's move was always the same. Ask a question in the team meeting, let her answer, cut her off. "That's not really what I asked," then move on to someone else, like nothing happened. She mentioned it once to a friend outside of work. Even said the line herself, maybe it's just his style, everyone deals with it. Then one Tuesday, almost without thinking about it, she opened a blank note on her phone after a meeting and wrote down the date and the exact phrase. Not for any plan, just so she'd have proof, even just for herself, that this was actually happening and she wasn't imagining it. She didn't think much of it. She just kept doing it. Every time it happened again. 6 weeks later, she opened that note again, and she counted 11 entries, same phrase, almost word for word, every single time. And when she actually looked closely at who it was aimed at, she realized something that hit her harder than the phrase itself. It was only ever her and one other teammate. The two newest, quietest people on the team. That's the moment everything shifted for Tanya. She stopped asking herself, "Am I overreacting?" She started asking a completely different question. Would this survive being written down and shown to someone else? The answer was obviously yes. So she took it to HR. Not as a vague emotional complaint. 11 dated entries. Same phrase, same two targets. Laid out plainly, like a timeline, because that's exactly what it was. Suddenly, it wasn't just his communication style anymore. It was a pattern nobody in that room could argue with. Her manager was placed into a formal coaching program with real oversight within a month. So let me be very clear with you today as your millennial HR friend. Toxic management survives on your self-doubt, not on any one dramatic moment. It relies on you talking yourself out of every single small incident, one at a time, until you've convinced yourself there's nothing to even name. That's just their personality, means nobody has wanted to name this out loud yet. You're being too sensitive means please keep this invisible. Here's what real career wisdom looks like. The moment something feels off, write it down, date, exact phrase, context. Not to build a case that day, just so you have a record separate from memory, because memory softens details within weeks and you start doubting yourself all over again without meaning to. If it repeats 3 or more times, it's not a bad day, it's a pattern. And a pattern is the one thing that gets taken seriously when a feeling alone gets explained away. The best response to a boss like this isn't a dramatic confrontation in the middle of a team meeting. It's not storming out over one bad Tuesday, even though the best response is Tanya, quietly opening a note on her phone, writing down the date and the phrase over and over until the pattern was undeniable, even to the people who wanted to call it nothing. The best response is you, understanding that the sick feeling in your stomach before a meeting was never you overreacting. It was information you hadn't started writing down yet. So if you've got a phrase your boss says on repeat, you know exactly which one. This is your sign. Not to confront anyone today, just to open a note on your phone tonight and write down the first entry, because the pattern only survives as long as nobody's counting. Tanya counted, and it changed everything. I'm your millennial HR friend, and I'm always going to tell you what HR in your office won't. Drop a comment in the comments with the one phrase your boss says on repeat and share this with someone who's been quietly wondering if they are just too sensitive.